on JT Meleck.
That's right, particularly on the high proof offering and the spec store pick.
The spec store pick, yeah. It was one of the, if people aren't familiar, if you're just tuning in, which I'm sure a lot of you are, it was one of the earlier reviews that we did because I was so excited after we bought it that I'm like,
we have to talk about it.
We have to talk about it. And at the time, I think probably 2 people watched it, which is fine. You know, we just started.
Yeah.
So you can go back and revisit those if you'd like.
Exactly. We passed on the low proof offering until very recently because if we wanted the low proof experience, you could just dump a little bit of water in the 118 and call it a day. And the price difference between the two is $5.
It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know exactly the pricing on it. I know the specs pricing, and they have it on sale. So, you know, normal bottles. I mean, I think for the 6-year I just bought, it was $100.
That was $100.
Yeah. So, you know, it's going to be in the, I don't know, call it the $50 to $70 range for the high proof. This one's going to come in probably in the $40 to $50 range, I would think.
At least I've always seen it at $50.
Okay, yeah. So that's pretty normal. So what is JT Meleck? So they're distillery out of Louisiana, right?
Odd place to be making whiskey.
Odd place to be making whiskey. So the story, and I think we covered it in the first couple videos, but I'll just refresh it. Rice farmers, 1896. They immigrated from Germany, wound up in Louisiana, and it's, you know, it's pretty boggy out there. So they're like, what can we grow? Well, we can't grow corn. Like, fuck it, let's grow rice. So they were a rice farm for a couple hundred years. You know, they sold off a lot of their acreage. They had probably, I think, 2,000 acres. And then they sold it all off, and it was just sort of a fledgling farm. And then the Fouché brothers, after college, are like, well, we want to sort of take up what our, you know, great uncle JT Meleck, what he was doing. So they got into rice farming. In the 80s, they got into, so the way it works is after you've, you know, grow your rice and you harvest it, it's like, well, what do we do with the fields afterwards, right? So you flood the fields and you throw crawfish in there.
Why do you throw crawfish in there?
So crawfish it's interesting. So it's a commodity, right? So the crawfish get big, and then you harvest the crawfish and sell them to restaurants all over the country.
Louisiana also is known for crawfish. They eat a lot of crawfish.
Correct. And so what the crawfish do in the meantime is they eat all the parasites and the insects and stuff. So it's like it's like weed and feed for your yard,
but with crawfish.
But with crawfish, they do
Which
everything.
is why on this bottle,
there's
a crawfish.
There's a crawfish on it.
It doesn't taste like crawfish.
It's not crawfish whiskey, no. So what they decided, I think in the mid 2000s, because they had a drop in the price for rice.
That's right.
And they're like, we've got all this extra rice. What the hell do we do with it? We can't sell it. And so they were sitting around a campfire, and they're drinking whiskey or whatever. And somebody's like, can we make booze out of it? Now, if you know anything about booze, anything with simple sugars in it, you can make booze out of, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's the same thing that happened with bourbon. You know, back in
the old
1800s, you had corn farmers that are like, we got all this extra stock of corn.
What do we do with it?
What the hell do we do with it? And they're like, well, shit, I guess we'll just distill it and make corn whiskey. Which started...
And then one thing led to another.
Which started bourbon, right? So it's the same idea. Nobody's doing 100% rice whiskey.
Except JT Meleck.
Except JT Meleck. There is, we've got it up there, the little book. I think it's the number 4.
Yeah, chapter 4.
Where they used brown rice in their mash bill. And it was interesting. I haven't had it in forever, but so long story short, when we tried the original JT Meleck, the high proof, the 118 proof, I was like, holy crap, I don't know what the hell they're doing down there, but I need to know more. So we're going to go into the 96 proof. Now, entry level, you got to give them props because it's not proof down to 80.
Nope. Which is nice because if you know, 80 is the bare minimum.
Yeah, that's the legal limit. So with JT Meleck, it's 100% rice, but all the other rules of bourbon are followed.
That's right.
From what it comes off the still at to barrel entry proof, new charred white oak barrels. They go for a char 3 or a char 4 on the barrels, aged a minimum of 4 years.
In this case, it's 4 years.
In Louisiana. So, and they've got a 6-year and they've got an 8-year that's coming out Q4 of this year.
No kidding.
Yeah. Not sure how easy it's going to be to find, but.
Well, hopefully it'll be. Hopefully we'll see it.
And when they started, I mean, God bless them. When they started, they were using like tiny oak containers, and they still have some of them.
Really?
It still has whiskey in them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so they started super small.
Because if you don't know, barrels are expensive.
Yeah, and then they got into 53-gallon barrels. And,
any news on their cooperage?
you know, I have it written down. I have it written down. It's in the living room.
Okay.
Or the dining room. But I know where they get their barrels from. I know, like I said, I know the char level. Like we discussed in the first couple videos, their rick houses aren't really rick houses. They're literally
built into the barn, right?
Metal buildings. You know, they age like after they do their distillation, they'll age stuff in that barn, so to speak, and then they have one across the street that they'll then move stuff into. But they're literally metal pole barns. Like, there's nothing fancy about it.
A rick house is traditionally a wooden building?
Either wooden or stone, depending who's doing it. Like if Old Forester's doing it, where they've got like their heated and air conditioned rick houses. Not so much air conditioned, but because they like the heat of the summer. But like in the winter time, they'll like pump, heated steam in there. But JT Meleck doesn't. It's like, screw it. It is what it is. So it's pretty cool. So let's go into it a little bit.
Thank you for that History Channel special.
Yeah, a little bit too much history, but that's okay.
He is weighed down with knowledge. Rice whiskey, particularly from JT Meleck, it has a creamy note that goes through it that I have not seen in anything else.
No.
It's really the defining feature of rice whiskey, at least how they do it.
Yeah, the way they do I call it rice bourbon. I know you can't say, you can't put it on the label, but, people get confused. They see Louisiana, rice whiskey, and they think, sake or soju or something like that. And it's like, no.
It's not that, because sake is rice wine.
Right. So this is all the rules of bourbon. They can't call it bourbon because there's no corn in the mash bill.
That's right.
But you get all the flavors. I think the industry standard, they say, is like 60% of the taste that you get from a whiskey comes from the barrel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? So corn, rye, malted barley, wheat, whatever, but over half's coming from said barrel.
Barrel flavors. What flavors do you generally get from a white oak barrel?
Brown sugars, caramels, vanillas. You get, like barrel char, so there is a spiciness to it. Depending how long it's aged, leather, oak, right? Texas whiskey.
Leather.
It's all fucking leather and oak. They're like, here, just chew on a belt and some wood shavings.
Thank you, cowboy.
And then every redneck's like, oh, this is the greatest fucking thing ever. They're like, no, I don't think so.
Well, teach their own.
And I love Texas. We live in Texas, but some of it's not super good. So
it's rather sweet, not overly sweet.
Yeah, a lot of brown sugar.
A lot of brown sugar.
Yeah, a lot of brown sugar, a lot of vanilla. I think when we did our tasting the other day, I wrote down like a cream cheese Danish with like brown sugar on top of it. Those types of notes. For 4 years, this smells to me like a 6 or an 8 year.
And the color's quite good too.
Oh, the color's great.
Which makes sense, because if you've ever been driving through Louisiana, it's hot.
Yeah, it's like Texas, but
hotter.
A little bit hotter because there's more humidity.
It's a little more moist.
But
yeah, I was very impressed. Go ahead. I was very impressed the other day when we sampled this low proof offering because it's quite good.
It's phenomenal.
It's very
I
impressive.
mean, we drank that much.
You drank that much.
Well, you've had a couple. It's not just me. I mean, we've gotten into it. So it's one of those bottles that, you know, if you don't understand what it is, like I did a couple years ago, you know, I mean, look, Louisiana whiskey, don't know what that means, or didn't at the time. There's a great big crawfish on the thing. I'm like, is this crawfish whiskey? Like, this is weird.
Yeah, like is it crawfish flavored moonshine? What
Right.
are you doing here?
Yeah, and it took it being on sale for me to even try it. But then, like, once I tried it, I became a believer. I'm like, oh, this stuff is freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd never bought the 96 proof, and then we bought it, and it's like, oh, this is
Still very good.
it's phenomenal. And it's, once again, I think for me, I cut my finger.
How, when, and where?
Who knows? We're getting old, dude. That happens to old people.
Why does that happen to old
I
people?
don't know. We just cut ourselves.
Running the walls.
Anyway, yeah, I never bought the 96 proofer.
Because the high proof is 118.
And you know me, I'm a proof whore.
It's true.
However, you know, once again, like I was just going to say, they could have proofed it down to 80
But they
for
didn't.
an entry level and just threw something out there. But they landed on 96, and I think for bourbon people, that's really cool. Because it's like, oh, you took some time, you took some care, you landed on a proof that's probably not going to go blow people out of the water, right? But
Not unless they're new.
unless they're very, very new. And even then, once again, like we've talked about before, you buy this whiskey and it's 96 proof. You have a few drops of water, you know, maybe 4 or 5, you take it down into the 80s and it's what you're used to drinking, except it's got a lot more flavor. Like I said, to me, all their products drink older than what the label says.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But they are mellowed out by the benefit of the rice distillation, which is like that creamy note.
Yeah.
They give sort of a what's it called? A density of flavor.
Yeah. Well, that's why when in the tasting notes that I did a few weeks ago, I'm like, oh, it's like those breakfast cream cheese danishes, right? It's got that creaminess of that cream cheese going through it, but it still has all the brown sugar, the vanilla, the caramels, and then even like we talked about before, the higher proof, like there's a spiciness to it, which comes 100% from the barrel, right? So it's like you get to thinking, it's like, oh, this, you know,
It's really impressive because
this might be the future.
It's one of the features.
Yeah.
Changing the cooperage is another.
Yeah, the barrel finishes.
And barrel
we talked
finishes, that jazz,
That's
cigar
wonderful.
blends,
Yeah.
etc. We're probably overdue for another industry video. Stay tuned.
Mhm.
I think that this style of whiskey, particularly rice whiskey in general, if it's going to be more than just JT Meleck's, hat trick, it's going to serve to showcase the barrel, because the creamy note that we keep talking about, it mellows out what would otherwise be like just sticking your head into that barrel.
Yeah, it definitely. It could definitely, the creaminess it counteracts a little bit of that rice spice.
Yeah, it tamps it down, and it lets the notes that the barrel imparts on the whiskey really shine. It's almost a showcase for the barrels that were used to Asia.
Right, and that's where and we've talked about the different barrels, that are in the industry right now. From stuff from Hungary, from stuff, the Kelvin cooperage.
That's right.
Like, that makes a big deal. So it's not always just about, the corn, the rye, the malted barley, although everybody's specific and they like what they like. Like Still Austin, they have growers that grow their own particular rye, and
Well, that's the iron root approach as well. The focusing very much on the mash bill and the grains that go into it. That's that terroir aspect.
Yeah, 100%. But so I guess here's the caveat: if you've ever seen this on the shelf and you're like, "Ooh, Louisiana whiskey, crawfish whiskey,"
It's delicious and very approachable.
Yeah.
If you're not ready for the 118 proof,
Sure.
Do the 96.
Yeah.
I still think if you can handle it, the 118 proof is... Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's even my opinion. I do like the 118, but this would be good if it was a little less expensive. This would be a good contender for like a weekly.
Sure. And if you don't, here's the thing: if you don't drink that much,
That's right.
then a $50 bottle, for a weekday pour kind of thing. And there are people that, believe it or not, there are people out there that will have like one pour. I'm like, who are these people?
Richer than you and I.
How can you have just one pour? But anyway, that's just neither here nor there. But yeah, I love this stuff.
This is an excellent bottle. You've expanded the collection to include the 6-year.
The 6-year.
And
we bought the vodka.
That's right.
And we'll do a video on that in a different setting because we don't
we don't want to contaminate it.
In the whiskey room. But the vodka's phenomenal too.
I know, for vodka. I was really blown away. But JT Meleck, very impressive. I look forward to seeing what they do as the distillery matures. I think I think when they get into barrel finishing, that'll be real.
Could be, yeah. That'd be. I mean, I think that's so. It's a small. You guys remember this? It's a farm first, right? That got into whiskey, right? So they're still growing in the whiskey world.
That's right.
Yeah,
they just put out the 6-year and they're putting out the 8-year.
Yeah, they're putting out. I mean, they literally got started in the whole distillation thing in 2016, 10 years ago, and it was vodka first. Because that's what all distilleries do.
Why is that?
Well, because it's just, you just distill it and it goes right out to market. And in 2016, not to be the biggest fanboy of JT Meleck, they put their vodka out there and went to the San Francisco, whatever, alcohol.
The vodka competition?
They fucking won double gold.
Is that the best?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And we're not talking about the vodka, but the vodka is what gave them the idea to like, oh, we can
do this.
We can do this. And then they started going down the bourbon line. And like I said before, you can't call it bourbon because there's no corn.
But it's very similar to bourbon.
It's, yeah, anybody that likes bourbon, if you see a JT Meleck product, you will love the distillate that's inside.